everyone. We are now live. Welcome to the first ever official Artist Con Hangout with Your Authors Author Spotlight event. And our first one is Chuck Sandy, a really good friend, very inspiring, has written tons and tons of books. But today we're going to
Not
focus
tons and tons.
on his English for Scammers book, which is actually really wonderful because I got to see this book and leave comments on it even before everyone else. So that's pretty cool that now I get to hang out with you and talk to you about this.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm excited.
Now, where are you currently right now? I know you travel all around the world, so.
Well, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Japan, right now. In Aichi Prefecture, not too far from Nagoya, Japan, and there's like absolutely nothing out my window except a bunch of mountains and a typhoon that never really arrived here today.
Well,
It was
that's
amazing.
good.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad it didn't arrive.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't have made this event. So,
No, no, no.
and now I know you're starting something, and this is not related to the book, but I know you're starting some really huge MOOC now,
Yes, I
massive open
am. I'm
online
working. I'm
course.
working, and you're going to give the keynote closing with Sylvia, and I'm really excited about that. And when I get my thing together here, I'll put a link to that into the chat box for people to look at. But it's the ITDI. I work with the International Teacher Development Institute, ITDI, and I'm working with WizIQ and Jason Levine and lots of people to put together something we're calling the ITDI Summer School MOOC. And it's starting July 20th, and it runs through August 17th. We've got like 35 presenters, including Shelley Terrell.
And I know you have some awesome ones. In fact, you're stealing one of our Artist Con keynotes,
I
which is
know,
Vicki
but
Loris.
it's an encore presentation.
Yeah, and actually she gets to do a longer version of it, so it's
Right.
good for her, and I'm looking forward to catching the rest of that as well. So it looks like now we're getting more viewers because we had to start a little late. You know how these technology things go, so
Yeah.
Chuck's will probably be a little bit longer, but it's okay because we have a very long break with Chuck since he's in Japan right now, so the time difference.
See,
Um,
what happened? What happened is I made a mistake, and I scheduled myself for like 3:30 in the morning Japan time, and Shelley was just really kind enough to wake up early and do
No,
this with me.
actually,
So,
we had actually put this was going to be the starting time because we got confused with the Book Me one. So we are beginning when we said we would begin.
okay,
Now,
well that's good.
so now let me ask you a little about English for Scammers. This is a bit different. I remember when I first started reading some of the book that I started reading some of the emails you might get that go to your spam box, or lately haven't been going to my spam box, so I'm a little upset at Gmail right now. Something like the Prince of Columbia, I mean the Prince of some country is it needs
Well,
to put a million something in my account. And so I did see some of that today.
Well, things that start with letters we get in our mailboxes that start with things like "Good day to you and your YOUs, comma RE. Good day to you and your family today," or "Salute," or "Hello, Sandy," or things like that come in the mail. And actually, I wrote this book with Dorothy Zemak. And it started as kind of a joke years ago. We both love spam. We both love the spam we get and the language of it and everything about it for some reason. And we kept joking about this for a number of years. Dorothy came to realize that we could write a really good book about writing effective business emails by showing people how not to do it. By using actual spam examples to show people how not to write like a scammer. So this is what we did, and it was just
No,
fabulous and fun to write.
What kind of like did you how did you get special permissions, or were there any like was there anything that you had to do to be able to take these like spam
You
letters
know,
and use them in the book?
we couldn't contact the scammers themselves to get permission to use their letters, but all the letters are authentic scam that we received
Yeah.
over the years. And I in my mailbox I have a folder that's now a couple of years old that's just called Spam for Dorothy. Whenever I would see some wonderful spam example come through my email, I just set it aside. Dorothy ZMAC, I'll write it, is the queen of collecting spam. And she just had some wonderful examples. And if you happen to follow her on Facebook, she's spamalicious. She shares like some great examples of spam every day. It's this is something most of us are just annoyed at receiving.
Well, I
And
think
it
it's a
is
fantastic topic for English. I mean, when people are studying, studying a language and stuff, the best way for them to really learn the language, I think, is that way they can come and they can get interested. Is something that they would want to actually read, and I think it's so practical too, and it's very helpful as well because there's so many that there's so many times we see these kinds of letters, and often I see that my students make the same mistakes as well. And I know something that you pointed out to me before was that often if they're not writing a certain way in an email, they'll even come off as spammers, when really it's because they're just modeling bad examples.
right, exactly. So our mission is to help people write good, effective business emails that don't wind up in someone's spam email. I mean, one of the simplest things, and people make this mistake all the time, especially new writers, they start by not addressing a letter to who they're writing to. And so one of the first chapters in our books is how to address a letter to someone. And it doesn't really matter whether you're writing a business email to a complaints department or whatever. You need to take the time to figure out who it is you're writing to and address it to that person, not good day to you and your family today, or salute, or hello in capital letters, because that's going to wind up in a spam box somewhere right away.
Now, can you give us an example of one of the funniest pieces of spam that's like included in the book?
Well, I'm going to look for one as we talk, but if I just pop this over into the chat over here. But this is from one of the reviews. Good day to you and your family today. I'm sure this mail would be coming to you as a surprise since we have never met before. But do not be worried, for I come in peace, and something very positive is about to happen to you, your life right now, and to the lives of others, through you, if only you carefully read and digest the massage below. There you go. So that's pretty typical. Someone just put that together.
And so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so that way we can let others see it as well. But one of the reasons why is because you have some very exciting news that they can actually get a copy of your book for free for just turning in. Is that right, or am I getting that wrong?
Well, how are we going to work this? Because I have one book to give away, and I'm going to send it to someone as a gift from Amazon.com. from me. So I'm going to need someone's email address in order to give them this.
No problem. So if you are at the Future of Education, Aning, we're going to take the first question that we get in the chat box, and then because you're a member, we'll be able to see we'll know who it is and who the email is, because you can't really be in the chat room. So that's why we have it on the Future of Education. It's free site, and while we're waiting for the first question to come on, and actually we're going to go ahead and I am going to tweet that so that way people know. And we can wait a little bit longer because we have a big gap anyway. will announce that we are having this event is our pre-kickoff event because tomorrow we have the beginning of our 3-day, very intense, very inspiring conference, the Reform Symposium. And it's great to be with Chuck because uh, Chuck is just, oh, has been a part, I think, of all of them, I pretty much,
Yeah,
except, yeah, and usually you're one of our keynotes all the time.
I wanted
Because
to. I
you're
wanted.
so inspiring.
Well, thank you. I really wanted to be involved this year as well, and I'm so happy to have this chance to talk for a little bit right now. I'll be watching all the presentations, or as many as I can, anyway. But as you mentioned, I'm setting up a MOOC and doing all kinds of other things. So I decided to sit out and be inspired by the great presenters in the RSCon this time. You have so many great people. So I'll be back here cheering people on from my room here.
Yeah, and it's always wonderful having you. One of the things I really love about you is whenever I ask you, you just, you're one of the most inspiring people that I know. Um,
Thank
you're
you.
just always so like, you're just so excited about it, and many times, sometimes you think that people who do this for a living, you get to go and travel around the world and speak and inspire audiences, but it's really great that you take the time and you come and you inspire the many different people that come as RSCon, because RSCon is free for them to attend, and I know that they appreciate it so much. So we do have a lot of the presenters. This time we had to cut down on the keynotes because one of the things we wanted to make sure was that we want to make sure that we got some people who normally don't present to come and present. And so we do have a lot of ITDI actually teachers like
Yes, you
Booty,
do. And
we
this is what I was
have.
going to say. What thrills me and makes me really excited and inspires me is seeing first-time presenters like Booty, who years ago, and lots of people, I go, why don't you give a presentation for RSCon? And they're like, well, I couldn't do that. I was like, sure you could. Of course you could. And then there they are. So it's just really thrilling to see
You
people.
have a fan. Q in Korea, he says he already has a copy of your book.
Whoa.
Um, well, it's a girl actually. Q in Korean. She says to
I
tell
know
you
Q and Korea.
hi. She
Hello,
says to
Q and
tell you
Korea.
hi and let you know you have an audience. And okay, Craig Yan looks like he's the winner of our English for Scammers book today, and he
Okay.
wants to know: do you write starting with paper or digitally? So your writing process, do you begin it with paper or do you begin it digitally? That's a great question.
That's a great question. We wrote the whole book on Google Docs, and we just kept passing it back and forth. It was all digital this time. I've been writing books for 20 years, and this is one of the most amazing things to me is that you can now work on books collaboratively using tools like Google Docs. And this was an exciting project for me too because it was my first ebook ever. Now,
Oh, wow.
yeah, all the books I've done before are all paper books, and maybe there are some digital editions around somewhere, but I didn't have anything to do with that. So it was all new to me. And I was working with Dorothy, and Dorothy Zemek is someone I've known for a long time, and she has a press that's called Ways Goose Press, and I'll put that in there so people can see it, and I'll get a link in just a second. But
So did Dorothy help you with the formatting? Because I know
Dorothy did the formatting. So
okay, yes. And let you know that you should kiss that woman because just finished spending almost 3 weeks of no sleep learning how to program my book for Kindle. Like
your book is amazing.
I know,
Well,
but trying to transform it into Kindle version, oh my gosh, it was just so frustrating. So you should kiss that woman.
I will one day. But in the meantime, I just put a link in the chat to Ways Goose Press, and you can see it was amazing to me. And this may sound silly to say, but if you look at Ways Goose Press site and Ways Goose Press books, you cannot see any difference when you look at the books on Amazon or Smashwords or some other site between Ways Goose Press book and a press from a major author. I mean, it's just so completely professionally done and beautiful. And Dorothy does both fiction and nonfiction and
Really? That's
ELT
nice.
books. Yeah, and she's got some really
Well, let me go
fabulous
ahead and
authors.
copy that to the chat. That's
Yeah,
one of
would
the
you?
great things about doing it with the future of education. You know, when we've had this before, well, we're using the RSCan 5 one, Craig. Um, so we'll just use that so that way we can kind of bring attention to the conference as well. But I'm going to go ahead and tweet from RSCon 2 that you're the winner of our book, and we'll give Chuck your email address. Well, Q, that's a good question. There are 2 chat boxes. One of the things about Google Hangouts is that you can talk with, like, so Chuck and I are conversing through our own little chat, but here in the future of education, we talk to you here. So that's how we communicate with you. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So this will be a short recording, but we want to thank Chuck for being here.
Well, thank you very much.
And
good luck. Good luck to all the presenters at RSCon. I can't wait for this weekend and all the presentations to come.
Me neither. We have some really exciting, we have a lot of new people from all over the world, presenters that I haven't really heard as well. So we're really excited about that. We have some really great creative panels. In fact, I'm not really sure. I'm going to be pleasantly surprised myself. One is going to be on multimedia, so we'll see how that goes. Blackboard. And then we have one also on teacher humility, so that might be a topic. It's been a debate lately whether, you know, where do you draw the line, and I know that maybe something you might struggle with as well. I think a lot of teachers do, like how much do you say about yourself before people start saying, wow, that person always talks about themselves, or so that'll be interesting to see that debate. And then we have we have a badge system now, so we're going to be doing like we're going to gamify it and be announcing that later as well.
Wow, sounds great.
You wanted to show real quick. Let me go ahead and show your English for Scammers, and we'll go ahead and end off with that so they can see a copy of that. And
no, thank you.
Will be adding to the site where you can go purchase this, and this would be great for your language learners as well.
It's a book for language learners. I never actually said that. It's a book for anybody who wants to write well.
But it's not very expensive, and they can get it on their Kindle, and they'll have it all the time offline, like that.
The print editions are available too, and that's an interesting thing to find out.
Yeah, that's really.
Can I make a quick plug for the ITDI MOOC coming up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just dropped the link for you to share. I'd be thrilled if people would join. It's following RSCom a couple of weeks later. Starts on July 17th, and it's the ITDI Summer School MOOC. It's going to be on WizIQ, and I'd love to see lots and lots of people there. And if you'd like to get involved in some way, just drop me a line, and I'll get you involved.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing something as well, so it should be really inspiring. I know there's a lot of great presenters, Sylvia Guinan, and I know there's Vicki Loras, and many different, 35, wow.
35.
So definitely that's going to be inspiring. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off so I can do the screen share.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And then we'll go okay, here we go. So we're going to screen share this really quick.
This is exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's so cool what you can do in a Hangout, you know? And later on, whether feed in this a little bit more, I like to invite people to come and kind of do this. So can you see your book? Is it there?
Yeah, there it is.
There is English for Scammers. And something that's real nifty that I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put this on here. There we go. So cool. I went ahead and now everybody can tell how we are doing this interview. So Thank you so much. Do not get carried away by a typhoon, please.
Thank you.
And
No, I'm battened down for the night, so I'm good.
have a good night. Thank you so much for staying up late
Thanks
to do
you.
this.
I appreciate
Bye.
it. So. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.